Hi guys. If you're here, then you know who I am. Tofer.A. This is Crosby.A.
Hello.
He's the star of the channel. Actually, that's Mom. She's hiding behind. Yep. Hi. So anyway, this is like the first time I've done like a community meetup. It's been pretty fun. Like we got people that. Where's Ryan at? We got multiple Ryans. People flying from like other parts of the country. People driving through snowy weather with failing fuel pumps, and yeah, it's been really cool. It's been a lot of fun. But really, what I wanted to do with everybody who's been a part of the community, been following the channel and joining us on our lives, is like it's just a panel basically of giveaways, and we'll do Q&As too. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer, whether it be about gardening or content creation or video games or whatever. But let's start the panel out. If you did not get a ticket when you walked in, make sure you get one. My wife in the banana yellow shirt there, or sweater there, has those. And we're also live on Instagram. Hi, Instagram. How are you? Yay. Damn, you have my phone, and that has the list of all the giveaways. Well, it's fine. I remember this sort of stuff because I have a box of it next to me. Basically, you know, I just started. Oh, thanks. We have shared notes. I started making videos about the stuff that I'm really passionate about, whether it be gardening or video games. It's kind of pretty much full-fledged been video games, retro video games for the last year or so. But I talk about all the stuff that I like. I involve my family. Is our older son even here? There he is. There's Leland. Hi, buddy. And it's been a super fun journey. I never really expected the channel, the pages. I don't know where you follow, if you follow on Instagram or on Facebook, which I unfortunately don't check. I'm sorry. But there are people there. TikTok or YouTube. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and it's grown to a place that I would have never really expected it to have grown. So, like, all of you watching, all of you here, like, thank you guys. And never would have expected that. So, as the channel continued to grow over the last like year or 2 years, like all of a sudden vendors were reaching out to me and like wanting to send me product, which was unusual for me, but I usually buy all that shit anyways. So I was like, yeah, send it to me for free. That's awesome. And then it turns out they expect me to make a video about it. But all the stuff that I found over this last year that I really have enjoyed, I put a list together as recommendations, as like Christmas gift ideas. And I hit all those vendors up. Some of them I work with now, and some of them I have good relationships with, and asked if they would just give me that product so I can then give it away to the community. And so here we are. That's what we're doing. Your phone locked. Dang it. So yeah, I'll take, questions if you guys have questions, and then in between each question, we'll do a raffle with the bucket. There it is. Can I have that? Crosby's gonna pull these things out. So let's do one right off the bat with again, like, this whole thing is new to me. I'm not like a huge like brand sponsor guy, and so it felt like the best way to sort of like give back. If you watch, my wife and I live stream 4 nights a week on Twitch. If you don't already watch there, you should, because I do this sort of stuff on the Twitch stream every stream pretty much, because I get sent a lot of stuff, and I don't need all that stuff. So the first thing, one of the companies that I really, really have started liking over the last year and a half since this has been a product that has been announced. We all play a lot on our Nintendo Switches, and if you do, then you probably know that the Joy-Cons, And so there was a company called new company called Cracked that started making these nitro decks, and all of us really like them. And this isn't like, again, like this is not a sales pitch by any means. I'm not going to give you guys like affiliate codes or anything. This is just like I found these products. I really like these products, and so I want to give the products away because they give them to me. So yeah, this is a Nitro deck for a Nintendo Switch. It's basically just a way more kick-ass controller for the Switch that feels way better in your hand, and it's also like they've made this really cool collectible system with them, and they're all a bunch of different colorways. This is the GameCube-looking edition. It even has the yellow C. It's not a C-stick anymore. It's a real boy. So we're gonna give that away first. You want to get in there and get it? You want to shake it a little bit? We have this thing on Twitch where you can do the egg machine, and you can either scramble the eggs or keep them straight. Crosby was gonna keep them straight.
0 0 0 0 2 2.
2 2. Hey. Hopefully you have a Nintendo Switch. If you do not, then it makes a great gift. Yeah. And enjoy it. We all use them and we love them. I think it's a fantastic thing. Does anybody have any questions about this guy does? I love Sega. If that's what your question is about. Sega. This thing's so low. What you got?
So you make content on so many different platforms, and you have found levels of success on every one. Now, have you found as a creator, you have to tackle each platform in a different way to be successful, or do they all function relatively around the same way?
That's a really good question, actually. This is like the short, long version of that. The thing that really got me making videos was a book that I read by a guy named Gary V. I don't know if you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, called Crushing It. And I went to film school, and I already had a big passion for telling stories and doing media and stuff. But when I read this book, it just kind of clicked, and it was like, oh, just make the videos. And one of his things was always like, every platform's different, right? Like you have to, you can't just post the same video on every platform. And for somebody who's been doing that for 2 years, I can tell you pretty confidently that that's sort of bullshit. Like you can totally post the same video on every platform, and you'll have, each algorithm runs a little bit differently, and so you'll have varying successes, but the same video goes up, with the exception of my long form videos on YouTube, which only go to YouTube. My shorts that I post every day, the same short goes to every platform. Now, Instagram has stuff like stories, and that fits into like a slightly different category. But when we're talking about 60-second or less shorts, the same thing works on every platform. The dressing that you use for that video is different for every platform. So some of them have a higher functionality based off of your title. YouTube titling is really important. TikTok doesn't even offer titling, and Instagram doesn't really either. But your copy, which is your description of your video, it can make or break your video depending on what your copy is. Some of the algorithms are really smart. I think Meta's algorithm is pretty good. So the more lengthy your copy is and the more descriptive your copy is, the better chance you have at Meta finding the people for you for that video, especially on YouTube. The more descriptive it is, sometimes you can have a total mundane video that's like so. I've had plenty of videos where I'm like, this video's fine, it's not super entertaining. But if you have a really great title and your copy is well written, then people still watch it anyways because they're discovering it. So discoverability isn't just about how good your video is. It's more about how well you can title your video, how descriptive you make, because they have an AI algorithm reading all of that stuff. And they have an AI algorithm listening to all of your dialogue, which is why captioning is really important on videos, because there is an algorithm that is reading your captions as well. So when you say PlayStation 5 times in your video, it goes, we're going to feed this to people who love PlayStation. And thus, you get more views that way.
Have you found when you're writing these descriptions on different platforms, do you think that hashtags really make a difference? Which platforms are they better on than others?
Yeah, that's a good question. Early on, when I first started making videos, I thought, and I think to a degree I still think, that hashtags are pretty important. But to be honest with you, I'm not certain. I'm kind of at that point now where I'm not so concerned about growth anymore, and so I'm starting to kind of like just test some things just for fun. It's like, I'm just going to make this video and not put any hashtags in it and see if it performs well. And because I used to religiously use like anywhere between 8 and 12 hashtags, depending on what it was. And then once you enter the creators panel or whatever it's called on Instagram, where like you become part of their like exclusive club or whatever, you get phone calls from Meta periodically. So you're assigned like a account manager or whatever, and they call you like every 6 weeks to just check up on you and, like, how you doing, and, is there anything you want to know? And they want to give you best tips and practices and stuff. And I found out that they don't know what they're talking about. No offense, Instagram, but like the people who are calling you because you're successful and they want to know what you're doing to be successful on their platform. And one of the things they told me early on is only use 3 hashtags. I've never only used 3 hashtags. I've always used like 10 hashtags. Whether they matter or not, I don't know. When the videos started becoming successful, I was like too worried to take them away and then be like, oh, and then, maybe it is making a difference. But I've started to mess with it now, and over the last few months, I've sort of noticed that maybe they don't matter so much, because they did 2 years ago, because that's how these platforms knew how to who to give your video to, like how to package your video and give it to certain pools or audiences. But now that AI is getting better and their algorithms are all run by some AI generated thing, it kind of doesn't really matter. What matters is what you are saying in the video and what you write in your copy or description. The hashtags, I think, are probably going to be a thing that ends up being more of a gag than anything else. I don't think it's going to make your video any more discoverable, but when somebody reads your copy and you have a funny hashtag, then it's sort of a gag. But I honestly don't know. I don't think hashtags really matter too much anymore. What's that? Watch time? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, watch time is a big deal. Watch time is probably more of a big deal on YouTube than it is on other platforms. So it sort of depends on what if you want to make YouTube partner, you have to have a specific, set number of watch time. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, and that's what's so tricky about like making those decisions in the editing process of like, well, when I first started doing long form, which wasn't that long ago, maybe 6 months ago, I was talking to my friend who was helping me out with my YouTube stuff, and I was like, how long do the YouTube videos need to be? Because with shorts, it's like it's 60 seconds. Well, now YouTube's going to allow 3-minute shorts, but like, yeah. So you were always like, oh, it has to be 60 seconds or less. If it's even less, and you can tell a good story, even better. But with long form, it's kind of like, well, how long should it be? And the answer to that is like, he always told me, well, it needs to be as long as it needs to be. You know, like the video needs to be as long as it feels like it should be. And but what I've noticed is you have a 12-minute video and a 10-minute video. It's the same video. You just cut 2 minutes of crap or whatever, dead air or whatever, out of this one. And your watch time is your percentage of watch time is higher on this 10-minute video than it is on the 12-minute video, even though people watch 11 minutes of this video and only 10 minutes of this video. If you have 100% watch time, which unless you're just like Mr. Beast, nobody does, like that's going to be a much more successful video than yeah, somebody who has an 11-minute video. If somebody's getting a video it's a 30-minute video and people watch 15 minutes of it, but somebody has a 10-minute video and people are watching 9 minutes of it, that video is always going to perform better because YouTube is going to push it to more people. YouTube goes by pools, basically. You know, they test your video by putting you in this pool of 8,000 people that also like the PlayStation, and then if it does well there, if it performs well, then they'll put you up in the next pool, which might be 50,000, and then if it performs well, then the next and the next and the next. So it's a really interesting process that I've learned. I'll answer you in a second. I'm gonna do another giveaway real quick though, because by far, if you watch my channel, by far my favorite thing that I have experienced this year is meeting a man that a lot of you may know as Dr. Mod. Yeah, I've made a lot of videos with his stuff that have been like really successful videos, and so he's not here, but you're here, so thank you for coming in his place. But if you haven't seen his booth, he's right when you walk in the front door. Incredibly sweet, genuine person, has become one of my really good friends, and makes just these incredibly cool things. And so one of my favorite things that I've gotten from him recently is the Dreamcast. And this is a well, it's because they make crap. So this is just a reshelled Dreamcast. One of the things that him and I talk a lot about, we have a weekly video series on my YouTube channel called Dr. Mod's Lab, which is basically where him and I just hang out for like an hour and shoot a video about just, you know, some cool thing that he's either fixing or trying to mod. And he modded this jacket. Anyway, this is my Marty McFly jacket. I took it out because I kept hitting it, but he modded it with a speaker and a button that does the whole, you know, your jacket is now dry. It's really cool. But anyway, this thing was completely busted when we got it. It was super dirty, the kind of dirty that doesn't get fixed. You know, deep scratches and yellowing. And the disk drive was broken. So a couple weeks ago in a video, we reshelled it, and he put a, gosh, I wish he was here because I feel like I'm going to mispronounce this, GDEMU, I think. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's an optical disc emulator. It removes the disc laser and puts an SD card reader in there. So he was generous enough to pass this on so I can give it to one of you guys. So we're about to raffle it off right now. And it does have a controller and maybe some other goodies on the SD card. Do it, Cross. Do your thing. Also, it's got Tofer.A colors.
0, 0, 0,
You can just read the last two digits. That's good.
3, 2.
3, 2. Who is it? Did this gentleman get a ticket? You get a ticket? You need to get a ticket. I still owe you a controller and the cables. Dr. Mod has them at his. What'd you do with that one? Dr. Mod has them at his booth, so I'll grab. When we're done here, we'll walk over there.
Let's mix this up really good.
Yeah.
Mix it up.
Get that going real good. Give it a good mix, Cross. How are we doing on time? Yeesh. Let's do one more giveaway real quick. We're gonna start rolling through these giveaways quick. One of the companies that I love the most because I collect vinyl records. I'm a big music guy, and I love video game vinyl and soundtracks and that sort of stuff. So I Am 8-Bit. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the company I Am 8-Bit. They make a lot of really cool, fantastic stuff. They've been nice enough to send along some really cool releases to me. Yeah, I don't really need it anymore. Thank you. And one of my favorites from this last year, and within the last couple of months, was they did the Animaniacs soundtrack on vinyl. So it's the original Animaniacs series and the new Animaniacs series. I don't know how many of you know this, but Animaniacs came back. It's on its 3rd season. It's very good. This is both of those soundtracks on vinyl, and it was given to us by I Am 8-Bit. So we're gonna roll this one too. Give it a whirl, Cross.
Again?
Yeah, man. We're going back to back. Hopefully somebody has a record player. It will not play in CD players.
1-1.
Oh my God. You have to recite all 50 state capitals before in song form. All right, let's take another question. Anybody have any questions?
Do you prefer now? I mean, because you're across all the different platforms
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, you started doing more long form stuff, like
Yeah.
the arcade videos, different things. And so, do you have one that you prefer doing, or I guess it has a follow up then? Like, do you? I know in the long form stuff, a lot of guys get more community engagement for it.
Yeah.
So, like, is there something that goes into you enjoying doing?
Yeah, I do.
Than the other?
Yeah, I do think I enjoy long form more. I'm a storyteller. Like, that's what I love doing. I spent the last 2 years learning how to tell a story in 60 seconds or less, which really helped me hone my craft in a way that I did not expect. And so having spent so much time in short form and then transferring to long form, there's so much more room to breathe. It's almost like having 50% capacity on your lungs for a long time and only being able to breathe like that far, and then all of a sudden it opens up, and then you can just I don't have to worry about cutting out a little bit of dead air because it just can breathe now. The problem with that is, the turnaround time on a long form video is so much more work. And when I first started posting long form videos, it was like, I'm used to, at this point, I'm used to like a good video performs at 1 million views or 500,000 views or whatever. A good long form video performs at like 3,000 views. And so when you first see that coming from this thing where like you get a viral video that does 6 million views, and you're like, yes, and you do a long form video and it's like, man, 1,200 people watched that. It must have sucked. Nah, 1,200 is pretty good for a long form video. And so being able to, or I guess having to learn that sort of thing has been difficult. And I've actually been fortunate enough now that I'm a YouTube partner and like there's income coming from it. I've hired staff editor. So I have somebody that edits about 50% of my long form videos now, which is really cool. It allows me to produce a lot more. Because I was producing 4 short forms a day. And now I'm doing 3 short forms a day and 1 long form. And 50% of those is being edited by a dude I've never met in Kansas City who uses terms like Riz and Skibbity. I don't know what that means.
Where you get all the cool shoes from?
That leads right into my next giveaway. So Tom, this one's for you. I met this gentleman named Thomas Bowman. You guys, if you watch like Ink Masters, maybe you might have seen him on there. He's a tattoo artist. Was a tattoo artist who has become a shoe artist, if that's such a thing. Give it a good mix. He reached out to me very early this year when the Back to the Future stuff dropped. All this stuff dropped. And he was like, man, I really love your channel. Would you want to do a collaboration thing? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. That'd be fantastic. And so we started working together. And, He does a lot of really cool video game drops, like the ones that I'm wearing now, the 8-bit Jason Voorhees shoes, the ones I wore yesterday, the ones that Chris here is wearing, the NES ones. It's called Bull Airs. He does limited drops. Warning, they're expensive shoes, and they are very limited numbers. So usually he'll only do like 25 or 50, maybe 80 of each shoe because they're all hand done. And a lot of them are licensed. So if you follow me, then you've seen a lot of the Bull Air stuff because I post a lot about it. But he was cool enough to pass me on a couple of gift certificates to give away. Because the shoes are so limited, I can't he quite literally takes pre-orders for shoes and then just makes the sizes that he got pre-orders in. So I can't necessarily give a pair away because I don't know what size y'all wear. But we're gonna do 2 gift certificates for Bull Airs. That way, if there's a cool drop coming up that you want, like he just re-released these ones, and also some 8-bit Freddy ones. It was a Freddy versus Jason thing for Friday the 13th. So give it a rip, Cross. $100. And he makes more than shoes too. He makes this is a Bull Airs jacket.
30.
30?
Nobody?
Yeah. All right. We're gonna talk after. I'll email you. One more. Let's do it. This is just like the live show.
2, 6.
Yeah. All right. The 2 of us, well, I have your information, so I'll text you, but let's talk after, and I can get your email, and I'll get you hooked up with Tom. That's a great question that led into the giveaway. So if anyone has Game Boy related questions or all right, let's do a Game Boy giveaway. It's funny that you say that, actually. I think I have Harry Potter in there now. I had that in there yesterday. Yes, I have. I didn't really know it existed until I went to Ryan's shop, Fire and Ice. You should check them out. I've fallen in love with the Chromatic, which I have a fresh, brand new Midnight Black one to give away. I've fallen in love with this thing. It's really something special. I'm not here to give you a sales pitch or anything, so whoever wins it, play it. You'll see what I'm talking about. But yes, I have played the Little Nicky game, and I love it. Yes, the opening cutscene from the movie with Lovitz, or the mini games, the Hitler pineapple game. Yeah, fantastic game. I'm finding yesterday here at the convention, I think I bought 16 Game Boy Color games because there were things that I didn't know existed. I didn't know there was a Little Mermaid 2 pinball game, so I bought it. Turns out, pretty fun. Yep. And also, I love this. So this is a new company. Well, the company itself, Mod Retro, is not new. It's Palmer Luckey's company. If you're familiar with Palmer, he's the guy that created the Oculus Rift. He's really into retro games, and he wanted to bring back the Game Boy Color. So not only is this a Game Boy Color, not only does Mod Retro make the Chromatic, but Mod Retro is producing and publishing brand new Game Boy Color games on cartridge. So this is something that 6 games launched with the console, brand new games. It comes in 7 different colorways, and once a month for the foreseeable future, there will be a new Game Boy Color game released. So I think stuff like this is really important for what we all do, what we all love. It is not an emulator. It is playing cartridges, and not only is it playing cartridges, maybe you don't want to go spend $400 on a copy. 400 Pokemon Crystal? give or take. Is it 160? Wow. Okay, so maybe I do want to spend 160 on Pokemon Crystal, but if you don't want to spend that kind of money, or if you have little ones like we do, and you want them to experience this stuff, and you don't want to go out and spend a fortune on old game carts, then the answer is maybe Mod Retro, because you don't need to buy their console. You can just buy the games, and they're putting them physically in stores. There's a limited edition retail exclusive color for GameStop, which I think is really cool. So I'm gonna give one of these away. Rip it, Cross.
One four.
1-4? That's me.
Yeah, my dude. Enjoy that thing. Yep. Hey, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you watching. For the sake of moving things along, though, because we're at 30 minutes, one of my favorite controllers this year, for a very specific reason, because we got a really cool remaster in the form of Metroid Prime for the Switch. I really, really loved the Nixie Wizard, which is basically a Wavebird, which is my favorite controller that I've ever used. I know it has not aged super well because, most controllers have not, but it works as Joy-Cons, and it also works as a Pro controller. And the form factor, including the button layout, is exactly like the GameCube. Yeah, and I love this thing so much, especially when you're playing, some of those GameCube games. So Crosby doesn't like it because the buttons are not in the same spots, but he didn't grow up playing GameCube.
So hard to crank 90s.
You can't be cranking 90s with this thing. So Nixie has passed one on to me. They are shipping them direct, though, so I don't actually have it to give to you. But they will ship you one direct, so rip it, Cross.
Three one.
Is that you? I don't have one physically to give to you, but I will. They will fulfill it on their end. Some of this stuff, it was just easier to have shipped from them. And since we're talking about Nixie, they also made a keyboard that I fell in love with this year. This is the Striker 1-Up. It's a GameCube themed keyboard with a customizable dot matrix display on it. Mine flashes Tofer.A because that's, cool to me. But mechanical keyboard, you can change depending on how you like it. If you like it super clicky, if you like it super soft. That sounded weird. It is also wireless. I use it wired, but I'm gonna give one away, so you can use it however you like it. Go ahead, buddy. And again, they're going to fulfill this on their end. This one's mine. Trust me, you don't want this one. Not because it's gross or anything, but.
3-6.
Where we got it? All the way in the back? Yeah. All right. Make sure you talk to me afterwards so I can get your email and get you hooked up with them. Let's take a quick question.
What was the most challenging part about building a community
Man, this is gonna sound like a real jackass answer, but like there hasn't been really anything challenging for me because I didn't intend to do it. I just started making videos and like people, over time, people just started watching them. There is not a single aspect about, maybe one, we won't talk about it, but there's not really any aspects about making content that I don't like, and I think that's why it works. I thoroughly enjoy the journey of doing what I do. I like thinking about making videos. I like making the video. I like editing the video. And most of all, I like posting the video and watching what everybody has to say, And so it doesn't feel like work. I still don't. It still really isn't work for me. It's a fun thing that just happened to work out, and it turns out it's because I like it so much. You know, I'm just super passionate about it. I get to do it with my family, with these guys, and like, I just hit on the thing for me, and that's really it. Although I will say, sometimes managing a community of a lot of people who watch you can be a little bit difficult. Yeah. But other than that, the community has been incredibly awesome. Like these guys, just it's the most heartwarming thing in the world. I love it so much. You get back what you put out. And if you put out like total positivity and you share all the stuff that you love, that's what you're gonna get back. And that's what I do. And so, you know, I don't experience a ton of negativity, and I don't experience that really weird dark side of the internet that people always talk about. It's maybe I'm lucky. I just get cat videos and shit on my, you know. It's like funny cats and like dogs like pooping places they shouldn't. Let's do another Cracked item. So Cracked released this really awesome Neo S. It is a Bluetooth controller, obviously, that looks, its form factor is a little closer to like a gamepad that you would have seen on like a Super Nintendo or something. But what controller do you use when you play Fortnite?
I use my Nitro Dex or
Well, when you're docked.
a Neo.
Yeah, he uses Neo. I didn't tell him to say that. I'll give you your $5 in just a minute. Okay. So we're gonna give this away. This is really, I love this thing. It's really cool. It's Bluetooth. It hooks up to just about anything.
Two 5.
The Wrecked Wizard. Enjoy that thing. It's really cool. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Also, if you don't follow my Wrecked Wizard, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, everywhere. You see me and this guy. We're together a lot. I got a couple more. Let's do them real quick because then we have some announcements. When it comes to me playing games, especially on stream, I have fallen in love with one specific controller. I've used a gazillion of them this year, and the one that really stuck with me is by a company called PDP. Victrix. They make the BFG Pro. It's very similar to like your Xbox Elite or your PlayStation, whatever PlayStation's is called. It costs $10 or $20 less than those, and it has really awesome swappable. You can, depending on how you like your stick layout, you can change that. And it has a fight pad as well. So if you want to play a fighting game, you can pull this out and pop in a fight pad with just buttons. And I love this thing. If you watch my streams, you know this is the only thing I stream with. And it's not because PDP pays me. It's because it's what I really like. So they passed one on to me. Huh? Yeah, yep. 600 of these in the mail tomorrow. I'm just kidding, PDP. Do it.
3-4.
Yeah. So I don't. They're gonna ship this direct, but let's talk after the thing. And then real quick, I got one more. My favorite, Crosby's favorite. Vitcher sent me these AR glasses this year, and I started playing with them. And I got to be honest with you, I didn't think that it was gonna be for me because it takes a little bit. You have to adjust them to your eyes. Everybody's eyes are slightly different. But once they clicked, man, like I don't play any games without these things. I play a lot of handheld games, so I don't know who wants to sit in front of their TV and do this, but you totally can. They are glasses that are about the same size as mine. They project like 110-inch display in high definition, really nice, colorful, bright display in front of your face. They have a magnetic clasp USB-C thing on the back that plugs into just about any device. Your phone, and you can also stream your Xbox, your PlayStation. You can plug it into your Switch. I use it on my ROG Ally. And I begged and begged and begged for them to give me a set to give away, and they did. So that's what we're doing. Again, they're going to ship direct because this is my box. Do it, Cross.
Two, one.
Yeah. I'll ship them direct, but let's talk hang out after. Yeah. So I do real quick want to get somebody up here. If you want to come up, Brian. We're gonna talk real quick about some things while I give away these last two things. So if you don't know who this guy is, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Ryan Stroll. I run Fire and Ice Games.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
If you have not
Appreciate the
been to
love.
Fire and Ice, what are you doing? Well, 5 more minutes, then you should go to Fire and Ice. But yeah, I mean, just real quick, you want to give them a brief, for people who are watching maybe that aren't in this area, a real quick brief overrun of the store?
Yeah, Fire and Ice Games is a 7,100 square foot retro haven for retro gamers. We have over $1 million in inventory. Not much you won't find there. Tofer and me became friends from him coming to my shop, and he basically was saying that he wants to start following his passions. He wants to show his kids that you could have a life doing something you love, and he really seen that in me, and I do what I love, and we just became really close friends, and yeah. Fire and Ice Games.
Yep. So 2 things that I want to talk about real quick. One of the things we've already sort of talked about, but your shirt, yeah. Okay, so Ryan and I officially, finally want to kind of publicly announce the podcast. We're starting a podcast called The Real Podcast. You want to tell them what it stands for?
Yeah, Retro Entertainment and Life podcast, and yeah, we want to bring everyone. Like, everyone has different interests in this hobby. Everyone in this room, they're not all collectors. They're not all. I mean, it's everything. You're rolling the arts. You're one of a super talented musician, and yeah, we just want to bring it all together on one platform. This is something that's scary to me to do, so I'm still learning how to do this kind of stuff. And he's given me the confidence to do this, and I'm super excited to do this.
If you would have asked me if I was going to have a podcast a year ago, I would have said no. And in fact, I don't think that there would have been like a single person that could have come to me that had been like, hey, let's start a podcast. I would have been like, that sounds like a great idea, until you did. And then it was like, oh, it was after SoCal.
Yep.
It was the day, I think the day or 2 days after SoCal Gamers Convention. Yeah, you just kind of like popped up the idea of like, hey, what if we did this? And I had already been thinking about that a little bit, and it just made sense. And obviously, we're both like really busy, and so we haven't had the opportunity to like really get it going. Can you talk about the second store? I don't know.
Yeah.
Got a second store coming.
Yeah, I got a lot going on. Our second store opens February 1st in Citrus Heights. It's looking really, really beautiful.
If you have not seen photos of this, if you have not seen photos of what the second store is starting to look like, I highly suggest going to their social media pages and checking it out.
Appreciate that. Yeah, you guys are in for a treat, but something else that's going to be very special. In June 21st, 22nd, we're having our own expo. It's going to be a huge one, kind of like a SoCal, like a Phoenix. Yeah, so it's going to be over 250 vendors, hopefully 250 tables, 160,000 square foot, but even more better, ToferCon 2 will be there. So
all of you who have been asking this weekend why we chose December to do the meetup, because it is the holiday season and I know it gets busy and stuff. Everybody's been asking, like, will there be a second one? Will we do this again? And yeah, so in June,
yep,
in Roseville. So open your phone. You type in Priceline on your little app search thing, and then it'll download an app, and then you can search for plane tickets that way.
For sure.
And you should do that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like have flown out here from other places or drove. So
Love
yeah.
the dedication.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. We have like 2 seconds. I do wanna give these away that Briar Rose Emporium made for us. They're really cool, just like engraved Tofer.A. Briar Rose usually has a booth here, and she does all these awesome mugs, and she made these for me, and so I want to give those away too. Cross, do the honors. The last one. I do 2.
Five and 7.
5 and 7.
Good job.
We got old Mason getting them on. All right, dude. Fill it with Kool-Aid. Nothing else. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys so much for hanging out, for watching. It's been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do it again. Instagram Live, thanks for hanging out and watching. This will go up on the YouTube channel in the next couple of days. So, yeah. Thanks, guys.
Good job, buddy.
Thanks, man.
I'm proud of you.
Likewise.
Throw them all in there. Might as well throw them all in there.
It's made by Nixie.
Yeah.